To get started, you want to thread your cords onto your button. So the way I've done it is I've threaded it through with the longest ones at the top of the button, as I will clip it to the board, and the shortest cords are coming out at the bottom. So these just need to be long enough to clip to your board and fit around your wrist or your ankle, whatever you're making. So once you've threaded all your cords onto your button, you want to clip your button to the top of your board and arrange your cords in order. So I've got longest cords on the outside and then all the shortest ones are in the centre. So I want to clip these shortest cords to the bottom of the board, like that. And then I want to start with the outside cords. So you can clip these if you want, or you can just put them next to the cords that are in the centre. And you want to do a square knot over these. So you just want to go over, and then pull through. And then you want to go under, and then under, and pull through. And you can do this a couple of times just for the beginning of your bracelet, or you could start straight from the pattern if you want to. But I'm going to do a couple of square knots just to seal everything in place. So if you're doing a couple of square knots at the beginning like I did, you should have something that looks like this. So then you can start the main part of your pattern. So you want to start with the cords that are longest, both on the outside and the ones that are clipped to the board, and they can just stay clipped to the board. And then you want to take your outside cords, and you want to bring them over the other cords that are next to them, and then you want to do another square knot. So once you've done your first square knot, you want to take your other cords and bring these over the top of the cords that you've just worked, and then you want to do a square knot with these. So I've done the first and second rows as I would normally do for a square knot, and I'm going to switch it slightly for the third row. So I'm going to bring it over like I did before and then leave these cords out of the way. But instead of doing the square knot the way I would normally do, I'm going to do it in reverse. So I'm going to do the second part as I would normally do it first. So I'm going to go under, under and through. And then I'm going to go over, over and through. So this switches the colour in the centre, so in the middle I'm going to have 4 colours running down the centre instead of 2 as I did before. And then I want to do the same thing with the next cord, so I want to bring them over, but then I want to do the square knot in reverse. So I'm going to go under, under and through, and then I want to go over, over and through. And then once I've done that, for my 5th row, I'm going to repeat what I did for the first row. So this is technically a 4-row repeat pattern. So each time you do your first 2 rows, you'll do your next 2 rows the opposite way around, and this will switch your colours each time in the centre. So once you've got the bracelet as long as you want it, you can unclip from the bottom of the board, and then you want to divide all your cords into 2 sections. So you want to have an equal number of cords in each section, then you want to put one section out of the way, and then take the outside cord from the other section, and then clip the rest back to the bottom of the board. And then you want to make the space for your buttonhole, so you want to go over and pull through, and then under and pull through. And how many of these you do does depend on the size of your button, so it's a good idea to measure as you go along. And you want to do the same thing at the other side, but a mirror image. So once you've done both sides, you can unclip again and then take all your cords from the centre and clip them back to the bottom of the board. And then you just want to do a couple of square knots to fasten together your buttonhole. So once you're happy that everything's nice and secure, you can remove your bracelet from the board. and then you want to trim and seal any excess. So I'm going to be using a lighter to seal here, but you could use glue if you prefer. And once you're finished, you should end up with something that looks like this. And that is your completed 4-colour macrame bracelet.